In this video, we're going to take a look at the variations adjustment. It is a destructive operation you can perform to the pixels of your document that allows you to compensate for various color casts that you have in your image, as well as do a nice kind of uniform color adjustment. I really appreciate this particular adjustment, and I use it quite a bit for photographs that I've shot outside that I need to kind of clean up. But here's how this works. Let's go ahead and just open this up. It's a very informative window. I actually really dig the interface for it. Here's what you get by default. Starting at the top, you have your original image on the left. This will not change. And then you have your current pick. This is the result of whatever it is you happen to be doing inside of the variations window. Everything else is it's kind of like a workspace where you can click on what you want to see and see your final image update along with the original right next to it. Now next to this, we can choose what we're actually affecting the color of. Are we affecting our shadows? Are we affecting our midtones, our highlights, or are we affecting the overall saturation? Notice that when we switch to saturation, everything changes to more saturation or less saturation. The idea is you just click on whichever option appeals to you more. So if you want less saturation in your image, click on less saturation, and you can see the current pick has updated, and we can place it right next to the original. I can click on this several times, and eventually we get no saturation left. I can also click on more, and I can add that saturation back in. I can also at any time click on original and basically reset back to where I was. Now I'm going to leave this on midtones for now, just because that's a great way to show how the color cast thing kind of comes in here. But on our original image, let's just say for the sake of argument that we're seeing a little bit of a warmish color cast here that we'd like to compensate for. Now your warm colors are going to be your reds and magentas, so to combat those, you'd want to add some cool colors such as blue, cyan, or green. Now you have a slider here to control how much of a change you'd like to see take place. By default this is set right in the middle, but if you set this to fine, you're not getting much of a change at all. You're just adding a little bit of color. So you add a little bit of cyan, a little bit of green, maybe you just click a couple of times. If you really want a huge change, slide that all the way up to coarse, and of course you can see what that's doing. It's just, well, it's almost like putting an overlay on top of your image. So very rarely, I think, are you ever going to go that far. I generally find myself working in either fine or maybe one step up from fine, possibly two in a real pinch. But here you can see the two versions right next to each other. They are really close, but I've gotten rid of some of the extra red that was suffusing the image. Now, in this case, that red was probably supposed to be there, but it works great for our example. Now, on the right-hand side, we have the ability to make our image lighter or darker in the same fashion. So if we want to kind of darken everything up, we can just click, and you can see how that's affecting. We can click lighter, and so on. It is a good thing to keep in mind that all of these colors that you see here on this kind of hexagonal color wheel arrangement do conflict with each other when you're straight across, which is very handy. So if you add 2 clicks of red and you realize you've gone too far, you can add 2 clicks of cyan and nullify that effect. So green combats magenta, blue combats yellow, and so on. So anytime you want to kind of undo something, just click on the opposite color and that'll pull that back down. Of course, you can also save and load various specific variations that you like, and you can hold down the Alt key and click on Cancel. You'll notice that the Cancel button switches over to Reset while Alt is held down, and that will reset everything back. Though in this window, you tend not to need to do that because you always have access to that original. So that is a look at the variations interface. Once again, it's just a way for you to control the colors of your image in a global sense, getting a nice opportunity to see what your changes are going to look like, to compare them against the original, make things lighter or darker, adjust your saturation, control shadows, midtones, and highlights, all with a very slick interface. That will wrap things up for this video. Thanks a lot.